Good morning, everybody, from a sunny Saga City, Saga Prefecture. Got my coffee here to start the day, had a light breakfast, and I'm ready for ramen. This is my first time in Saga Prefecture, and they might not be as famous as, say, Fukuoka Prefecture next door for ramen, but Saga doesn't mess around. For a lot of ramen heads, Saga Prefecture is a must visit. And I'm gonna be introducing to you the best Saga ramen. You know the next line, let's do this. Hey everybody, this is 5 AM Ramen, your golden ticket to the glorious world of ramen in Japan. I'm Frank, and I'm happy to say that I eat ramen for a living. I have a pretty sweet job. This dream job takes me around the country. I'm all about seeking the best ramen shops in Japan. In this video, we're kicking off a brand new series in the South, a KYUSHU Ramen series. KYUSHU is Japan's southern island, and it's home to amazing food. I often visit Kyushu just to eat. Seriously. In terms of ramen styles, it's tonkotsu ramen or nothing down in Kyushu. Tonkotsu ramen is pork bone ramen. Pork is king on this island. Now, Kyushu has 7 prefectures. Think of prefectures like states or provinces. Fukuoka is the biggest prefecture in terms of population and fame. We're going to end up in Fukuoka eventually, but before that, we're starting out the series in Little Saga Prefecture. As I mentioned, Saga doesn't get as much love as its bigger next-door neighbor, but it definitely is known for ramen. Delicious tonkotsu ramen with a few Saga twists. One of those twists is raw egg as a topping. Don't worry, you can be like Rocky in Japan. Raw eggs are totally fine to eat. Anyways, let's get to me on the ground in Saga. I'm now on my way to our first ramen shop of the day, which is Motomura. They do your typical Saga-style tonkotsu or pork bone ramen, but they're also known for their chashu pork. It's supposed to have a stronger seasoning. Looking forward to this bowl, and I am oh so hungry. Whew, it is hot in Saga City, at least hotter than Tokyo. And I'm now walking past a farm as I recap Motomura, which has the distinction of being the first ever Saga ramen shop I visited. That said, Saga Ramen, what were my impressions? The soup, it definitely packs a punch. I could smell from outside the ramen shop that pork bone funk. And even though the soup is thinner, it does have a strong flavor, just maybe not as strong, not as packing heavy a punch as, say, other tonkotsu ramen styles, namely Fukuoka. You've got Hakata style over there, or even nearby Kurume, also in Fukuoka. But again, it was so full of flavor. While the soup was on the thinner side, it did still have strong pork notes. A little bit of soy sauce seasoning in the background, and the noodles are thicker and softer than what you get in Hakata, where they're razor thin, super firm. So it was a different experience, and also that egg is a signature in Saga, raw egg. Break a little bit of it into the soup at a time, and it does make the soup creamier. And Motomura was super local. I definitely stood out like a sore thumb. So far, liking Saga Ramen, and I'm looking forward to the next place, Koyokaku. Now, while Saga Ramen is comparatively not as like thick or koi as other tonkotsu ramen, this place is supposed to be on the thicker side and stronger flavor side. So maybe they're cramming more pork bones into the soup. This is gonna be a heavier meal, or so they say. Let's see if that's the case. On another note, people around me were ordering rice. I didn't order rice. I gotta save more room for ramen. And they were also ordering inari, which is basically tofu wrapped rice. You'll see it at sushi restaurants. I skipped that too. Ramen shop number 2 is Koyokaku. Koyokaku goes back to 1974, but they closed down in 2008, only to brilliantly reopen after successfully finding an apprentice and training him up. We're getting this apprentice's ramen today. This ends up being one of my favorite bowls on the whole trip. Let's see exactly what I have to say about it. This is beautiful here. I found a little canal, have some benches over here. I thought I was in the Netherlands for a second, but no, I'm still in Saga Prefecture, gobbling up Saga Ramen. And here's my recap of shop number 2, Koyokaku. Bear in mind, it's a Saturday, and I normally try and avoid visiting ramen shops during the weekend, but as is the case with this trip, you know, sometimes some of those ramen days, they're gonna fall on the weekend.
especially if you're eating ramen every day when you're traveling. So I rolled up a little bit before 12, and as I left, it was getting pretty poppin'. But they have a lot of space, and even if you're by yourself, you get a whole table to yourself. Maybe this is with the current restrictions, but it's nice. I got to stretch my legs a little bit. I ordered the same ramen as I did at Motomura. That is with the raw egg. And this was definitely on the heavier side. It was a thicker soup, a lot more emulsification, more strongly flavored in terms of pork bones. It had a creamy richness to it and a delicious bowl. So if you're looking for something heavier, this place might have your name on it. Just like before, as soon as you break that egg, it does get creamier in a different way, and it's nice to enjoy some of the noodles with that creamy egg. Chashu was about the same. These are thin slices of chashu, not too soft, not too firm. But what was different here was that the chashu indeed do have a stronger flavor. But outside of that, very similar. Of course, the soup was the biggest notable difference, alongside a lot of green negi or spring onions in this one. And if you scoop some of that negi up with the soup, you do get quite a bit of sweetness, which is a nice contrast to this heavier, thicker, porky soup. Noodles were about the same thickness, and we're talking about relatively thin, but definitely thicker again than Hakata style ramen noodles. But these were a little bit softer than at Motomura. Great bowl and a heavier one at that. It was pretty amazing watching the one staff member take care of everyone. Of course, you do order from a ticket machine. Hello there. Unlike Motomura, where I had to verbally tell them what ramen I want. Even though there is a ticket machine, she was running around, basically cleaning up, dishing out the ramen. And I'm sure that's compounded on Saturday. But do keep in mind, when you arrive, you do have to put your name on a little sheet of paper on the right-hand side. Just write your name down and put a number next to it, the number in your party. This is where it does get pretty local. I don't know if you put English, what would happen. I put my name in katakana. And even with that, they were like, Furon, you know, they weren't used to reading a non-Japanese name like Yamada or Tanaka, for example. But yeah, in these smaller countryside, if you want to call where I am countryside places, you do get a very local vibe. Writing your name on a waiting list included. Now my next ramen shop is about an hour-and-a-half walk. I'm not gonna walk as much as I would like to walk and digest. I'm gonna take the bus, but my bus doesn't arrive for another 15 minutes or so. I think I'm just gonna relax here in this mini Netherlands. Got a book with me, and the next place is gonna be very important. This is at the top of many people's Saga City ramen shop lists. It's called Ichigan. Might be the pinnacle. That's coming up next.
Our final ramen shop is Ichigan, and it's a little bit out of the way, but it's got to be crossed off the list. Some put Ichigan at the very top of the Saga Ramen list. The owner here trained at the first ramen restaurant we visited, Motomura. The soy sauce seasoned soup is 100% pork bones. What else is it gonna be in Saga? This is classic Saga ramen, but perhaps with an updated approach. Let's see what I thought of this bowl at Ichigan.
So from Ichigan, it's about an hour-and-a-half walk back. I don't mind, I do a lot of walking, but I did want to squeeze in one more thing, something to show you all that isn't ramen related, before moving on to my next ramen city, Kurume in Fukuoka. And with an hour-and-a-half walk, it's gonna be pretty tight. I have to go back to the hotel, get my bags, and then hop on the train. So Google recommended I walk in the other direction to catch a bus going back towards the station, but I'm gonna take a little bit of a risk. The bus schedule wasn't right on Google earlier. It wasn't showing the Saturday schedule for some reason. That's fine, but what I'm trying to do now is cut through the middle here, and I'm trying to catch the bus as it does a loop and is making its way back to Saga City. I don't know if that's gonna work, but it at least won't be an hour-and-a-half for me walking all the way. Not the end of the world if I do that. I'll probably walk very quickly, maybe can do it in an hour, but it would be very nice to shave off some time. Yeah, I'm cutting through farm fields here, but I don't even know if it's for the right bus schedule. Either way, it's an adventure. Speaking of shaving time, what better way to shave time than give you a little recap of Ichigan, supposedly the pinnacle of Saga Ramen. This place had a lineup, unlike a lineup at the first two places. No surprise there. You get in line, they're gonna instruct you to buy a ticket, and then you wait a little bit after buying your ticket, making your selection on the ticket machine, and then you jump inside. They'll tell you when that time arrives. This is as I expected. Compared to Motomura, and this is where the master chef here trained, it was fine-tuned. It wasn't thick or nearly as rich as the second ramen shop. This was closer to Saga style ramen, a thinner, less heavy soup, but full of flavor. Beautiful porky flavor, just not as heavy and creamy rich. Good noodles, good egg, what else can I say? Fair amount of green negi or spring onions in the soup, offering some sweetness. And I decided, since I'm all the way out here, to get a little bit more in terms of toppings. I got their tokse, or basically a special topping arrangement. This included more pork as well as the raw egg. I was almost tempted to spend a little bit and get their seaweed as well, which comes on the side. They're famous for their seaweed, but I was like, that's all right. The button also said #1 most popular for the one I pressed. And even though when you press something like that, you know what you're pressing, you know what they're pitching, you end up pressing it anyway. Human psychology. I'm literally surrounded by fields here. I might work up more of a sweat. I think I'm gonna attempt to jog a little bit. This always seems to happen, especially when you're not driving. I don't drive that much, even on these trips where a car would definitely come in handy. At least at the time of this video, the last time I drove for ramen was a little Aomori trip. This is up north, and feel free to watch that video as well. It's kind of peaceful. I can hear the running water in the background, their irrigation system working overtime, but it also makes me want to go to the bathroom. I'm not going to pollute their crops though. There's a car here behind me, the first sign of life in a long time. And they're probably like, what's this idiot doing walking out here? Not wearing shorts in this temperature too. It is getting hot. Anyways, enough rambling. I'm gonna try and catch this bus. See you all in a little bit. Okay, so I made it to Saga Station. Just waiting for my next train, but not to Kurume City. One stop before that I'm gonna show you all. Before that though, I decided I had to have Saga beef. And that's what I've grabbed right now. I'm very lucky. I wasn't even hitchhiking, but someone was so kind to basically drive me from where I was in the middle of that farmland all the way to Saga Station. Otherwise, it would have taken me a lot longer to get here. I would still be walking now. Even if I was trying to catch a bus on the way back, it would have been a lot longer for me to have gotten here. People in Japan are so nice, and in the countryside, that is, tenfold. It's crazy. She just saw me there, wonderful lady. She happens to teach English and saw me there, was like, do you want to ride? And she took me actually all the way to the hotel so I could pick up my bags and basically shave a lot of time off the schedule. Thank you so much. So I'm here at the cafe right inside Saga Station, and I just had to grab some Saga beef. Saga beef is among the most popular and most expensive beef brands in the country. This is alongside Kobe beef, as well as Matsuzaka, etc. I think it's to the point where Saga, it actually has to be A4, A5 rank only, which is the highest basically level of Wagyu. They're not messing around when it comes to Saga beef. And this is in more of a bento form, but not a bad deal. I think I paid a little over 600 yen for this. So it's a good price, and I still get my Saga beef. This is not exactly how I pictured I would be eating it, but given the time that I have before I catch the train, this is the best I'll get, and I'll definitely take it. And it's relaxing, just being in this small cafe, got my coffee, and here's some Saga beef. That's good beef. It is in a simpler bento form with fried onions, so there is quite a bit of sweetness, but you can taste the quality in the beef there. I think one day I'll have to come back to Saga and get a proper steak or something like that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this rice I have here. Maybe I'll take the rest home. But I think I'm gonna sit back, enjoy my coffee, and wait for the train. I have one last thing to show all of you. Not ramen related, not food related actually, but I'll close out this Saga Ramen video over there. Let's just say it's a place of historical importance here in Saga. Now look at this beautiful view behind me. Some of this could date back as early as 500 BC. Very impressive. Alrighty, just arrived at my hotel in Kurume, and I'm pretty beat. It was a long, action-packed day. 3 bowls of delicious Saga Ramen, topped off with some Saga beef, as well as a visit to Yoshinogari. Got a whole lot more ramen eating to do here in Kurume, and that'll be one of the next videos I put up. But let me know in Saga which of the ramen you like the most. This is not like Tokyo where I'm having, 3, 4 different styles in one day. It was all Saga Ramen, but with a little differences between the 3. Let me know which one stood out the most to you. I hope you enjoyed this best of Saga Ramen video, and if that's the case, please hit that like button and also consider subscribing if you haven't already. This is Frank from 5 AM Ramen signing out.